they gave me the wrong movie. So,
what are you trying to get?
I think I don't even know what I was trying to get. I think I was trying to get like a Van Wilder sequel, like something. I forgot what it was, but I think it was that. And they gave me this one, and I was like, I remember my girlfriend and I at the time were just like, what the fuck is this? But me and her, we were so into watching very B-side movies or foreign movies that we were like, oh, well, let's just watch it. And we both were like, holy fuck, this is like nuts. And I know she's not a fan of kung fu movies and stuff like that, but she enjoyed it, and I wasn't like I haven't seen a kung fu movie since Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon, so it was a really good refreshing, and I think this was like the boom period for these type of Asian movies to be coming out, you know, besides like almost like 3 or 4 years ago with One Punch Man coming out and everything. Which is a resurgence, and now with Parasite and Snowpiercer and stuff like that, like being more profound in America, it's definitely ahead of its time, and it really transcended like language barriers. You know, there's only certain films in the world that transcend language barriers. You know, it's only selective few. And I think this one really is perfectly fitted to introduce people maybe that weren't even interested in kung fu movies to kind of go check out a lot of the stuff that they were missing on, you know? Because what a lot of people don't know is that really like a lot of Asian movies were really profitable back in like the 60s and the 70s, you know, especially with Bruce Lee being around.
Yeah, there is definitely a lot of hints to Bruce Lee in this movie too. So,
and I just wanted to say this movie is just like so hilarious. I couldn't stop laughing when I was watching it earlier, and it just made me after like all the stuff we've been watching, like intense movies and stuff. Like this was definitely like a fresh breath of air.
Yeah,
like having something comedical. Like
this movie is intense, but like you just don't feel that way. You know what I mean? Like
yeah, it's more lighthearted.
Yeah, that's why I was like, let's go to something in between. You know, so this time on my pick. So, and that was very nicely said, Diego. What about Wes? What does Wes have to say about the Kung Fu Hustle?
So I'm a big fan of martial arts in general, and I'm never not down to watch the film. You know, I love foreign films. I feel like they tend to have some of the best, or tell some of the best stories in the world. You know, and I feel like a lot of people who are too, not to put anybody on blast, but a lot of people are lazy to read films, and then they won't watch them, and that's a shame, because there's so much storytelling that's kind of missed out by Americans that is solid, and this is a great example of one of them, and I love it. I saw it once, just like James, one time only. So this is my second viewing, and I had forgotten a great deal of the story, and it was it's amazing, and it totally keeps you on your toes, and you just don't know what's coming next, because it just has has virtually no limits. And it will go anywhere it fucking wants, and you can totally feel that in its tone, and it's that right there, that like its willingness to be unafraid to do all of this stuff is just so weird and quirky, and the fact that it was able to establish that tone for the entire way through is such an accomplishment. And this movie's so fun, and thank you for picking it as a main focus for anybody out there who hasn't seen it and may be listening to this, it is on Netflix. You can watch it essentially for free if you're interested. Hopefully you've already seen it and you're listening to hear what we have to say about
Hopefully
it.
so, right? We can only hope.
Yeah, but it's pretty hard to even spoil this one. There's so much that happens throughout it. Yeah, I don't know.
Throughout the film, it's just ongoing, like back to back things happen. You know what I mean? It's never, to me, it's never not slow.
Yeah.
And when it's slow, they obviously have a symbolism or something like toward like what's happening on their surroundings. You know, so like there was a slow point where I thought it was a really good little symbolism part where the guys basically get told by the Crazy 88 to go. Maybe it might be spoiling the movie, but to go kill somebody, and they get off, and then they start looking at this nerdy businessman, and they're like, look at them, they're a bunch of nobodies, but they're the ones like earning like high money, and he's the one like with bummy clothes on, sitting on the ground next to a bunch of other people. You know what I mean? Like, so that was a crazy symbolism. Like, he's basically a bum telling other people that they're bums. Like, especially since it's not in English, it'd be hard to like think, like, say that or like see that in the movie. You know what I mean? Like, so that was a good little hint of symbolism. I do the fighting scenes are intense in this movie. We could talk about that for days, probably.
Yeah. I like the Axe. What are they? The Axe gang, the leader. How he does it in the beginning when you first see him. He does his little dance towards the guys.
Yeah.
Towards to that gang.
What a solid opening, dude.
Yeah. Oh man. And then there's the scene where I forget the main character's name, but he's still on. Yeah, he's still on that quest to finally kill somebody because they told him to kill somebody and he'll be a part of the gang. And he goes back to the town and he sees the landlady yelling at all the people, and then he gets his knife and he throws it and it bounces and then it hits him. He hits himself. And then he does it again, and then he hits himself again. And then he's like, okay, I'm tired. Here, and he gives a knife to his friend. He's like, you do it. And then he goes back and he stabs him in the arm, and he throws the handle. And then that whole scene. I remember when that happened. When he first threw the dagger, I had forgot about that scene. And it bounced back, and it goes back into his arm. And he's like, oh, I started laughing so loud.
Yeah. And
it was hilarious.
He was like, do it again, but go closer next time. Like,
When Bone throws the knife, and he actually hits the landlady, but it's only the handle, and she looks all confused, and she's like, who's throwing handles?
I like when he pulls the knife out of his buddy, and he's like, oh, like I stab him, or you stab me or whatever, and then he pulls the knife and he's like, oh, don't pull it out, and then he puts it back in.
Yeah, the comedy in this is gold, dude.
Yeah, so good.
I like I like the freaking when they like the tone of the movie like drastically changes for me when they start introducing the beast, dude. Like you just feel like the atmosphere change in the movie. Like you just know like this guy probably is no joke. Like there's a reason why he's the number one.
I love the.
Go ahead.
No, sorry. Go ahead.
I was gonna say I like in kung fu like movies like these, they always have people in a like order. Like there's a pecking order.
Like the big bad boss at the end.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah.
And you always start from the bottom and you go from the top, like sort of like Mortal Kombat. So. Mm-hmm. So that's cool, dude. And the Beast is probably one of my favorite characters, dude. When they introduced him, I was like, no fucking way, this guy is going to work all these dudes after you've seen what they've done. Like, you know what I mean? So
right.
Like, and then when you see him in action, it's like, holy shit. And they turn on the Matrix during his scenes. So, yeah. If you guys had to pick a favorite character, what would it be in this? Like, to me, the Beast is one of mine.
I like the landlady's husband.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's just the landlord. I think
his style is sick.
Yeah.
He's all like wobbly and shit.
He's kind of reminded me of like a drunken monkey style or whatever.
Yeah, he's like a drunken landlord.
Yeah.
With a crazy wife.
Yeah, and then the other scene that I liked was paying homage to The Shining, when they go to find the beast, and you see the blood, you see the door open, all the blood kind of like the elevator scene when the blood kind of falls out of the room, and I was like, wait, I didn't remember that scene until watching it again, and I was like, wow, that's crazy that they did that.
All that work for like 10 seconds of footage that didn't even really like go anywhere.
But they didn't match with they didn't match or anything with the theme.
Yeah, they were just like, let's do this as a hallucination for like 10 seconds.
Yeah.
I would have to say, favorite character, I really liked Brother Sam, the leader of the Axe King. I thought he was great throughout.
Yeah.
Very
fun. Pretty good scumbag, huh?
Yeah.
He's beating up his accountant or whatever. He's like, get out of the way, I can't see.
And also the tailor, who's just called the tailor, with his fucking his awesome rings that he that was his power.
They call him the Iron Fist or whatever.
Mm-hmm. Man, that guy was sick for sure.
Yeah. Solid posture. Like is he a real? I wonder if it's a smart fact, but is he a real kung fu master, or like he's like a real?
I believe he was. He was one of the in like an older actor that they got. So he's big in Hong Kong.
I always like that in kung fu movies. They're down to bring back the old school people for new style type movies, even though this movie was 2003. It's this movie could still be new, dude. Like I don't know, I don't think they've done anything like this since. If anything, everything has like dark tones and fighting.
Mm-hmm.
This one,
those are more serious.
Yeah.
I like the fact that the tailor guy that they were hinting that he was gay, right?
Yeah, they called him a few times.
Yeah, and he was like, and to me that seems really like forward thinking, and in terms of like that time in 2003 or 2004.
Yeah, for Asian culture to making fun of that.
Yeah, and then you showed him like being a badass still. Like, oh yeah, he's gay, but he's still like kicking ass.
Mm-hmm.
Like, which that was, to me, I was like, wow, that's crazy that this was in 2003. And I don't think I caught on to that when I watched it the first time.
You first watched it, yeah. There's a lot of things that I just see. Like I'm like, wow, dude. There's so much things you can talk about. If we watched it again, we'll be like, oh, did you guys notice this time? Like, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So, it's definitely a good film. I like the dudes, the second killers, dude. The ones that use music to their advantage to fight.
That was sick. Yeah, that was really cool. A lot of this reminded me of like it to me. The way they filmed this was like if you were to watch an anime.
Yeah,
any type of anime like Naruto or whatever, and be like, okay, let's turn this into a movie, but real life.
Yeah,
and that's what you get from this movie. It's like turning those animes into reality, basically.
It would basically be the first live action Naruto. Yeah, that would be sick if they actually would do that. But yeah, these were the first. This was the first for me to recognize something like this, you know. So.
Let's talk about that the subplot that I feel like is probably overlooked with the love interest.
Mm-hmm. Overlooked.
Fong and
Sing.
Yeah, and Sing when they're kids, and he's like trying to learn kung
Buddhist
fu.
Palm.
Yeah. Oh yeah, the Buddhist Palm, and then he tries to save this girl, and she's mute. I guess this group of hoodlums. Kids are trying to steal her lollipop, right?
Yeah.
He kind of steps to them and they beat him up and pee on him and humiliate him. But then
I think that's when he realizes that he was kind of taken advantage of from that homeless guy who sold him the pamphlet.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, the whole movie was like basically he tried to do right from the beginning, but he just saw like it was doing nothing for him, and he just said like basically I'm gonna try
to be a bad guy.
Yeah, that's a good little bit of like symbolism toward like because eventually, not to ruin the movie, but he becomes the ultimate, like,